So, how to increase employee motivation to get back your time? That's what we're talking about today. An impromptu video today. I posted an article just this morning, and it's an important one. So, I wanted to take the time today to dig into it deeper, unpack this a little bit with you to make sure that you can really take these gold nuggets and implement it for yourself. Because let me tell you, when you feel like your time is sucked from you and there's never enough, it leads to burnout. Like nobody can function for that long. So I want to make sure that you can succeed. My name's Melissa. I'm an executive coach and a management consultant. And what I do every day is I work with leaders. I'm either one-on-one or inside my signature program, the Executive Edge, where I help them boost their influence, increase their communication, and create a positive workplace where people can do really great work and where they can actually create self-managed teams. And that is a thing. It is a thing. It is not a thing often seen, but it is a thing when you set up the right conditions. So let's talk about some of these conditions today. Kelsey Ann is joining me. Kelsey Ann is part of my team. She is a warrior in terms of getting some of this information out there to you. So she wrangles me up. She's pulling some information from me and she's setting it up so that we can deliver some really important nuggets to you. So Kelsey Ann, tell us a little bit about you and how you're going to join in this conversation.
Sure. I'm your marketing director, and I offer the employee perspective.
Yeah. So motivation. It's a fun word. It's an interesting word. It's a word we throw around a lot. I wish they were more motivated. I wish they were doing more work. I want them to do the work from a place of want to instead of have to. I want to stop having to make them do things. I want them to do it themselves. So motivation. There's two types of motivation. There's intrinsic motivation, which means it comes from the inside, and there's extrinsic motivation, which means, in other words, external. It comes from the outside. And there is a fallacy, a false belief that we can make people do things. I have to make them do the work. I have to keep them accountable. I have to put the screw to them. I've heard this before. So they do the work. So what happens? When I make you do work, what happens to the employee? From the employee perspective, tell me about that dynamic.
Yeah. The employee perspective is like resistance. Like, nope.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be told what to do.
Yeah. So there's two things that are going to happen. There's one of two things. Exactly what you said, the resistance or the disengagement. So you're coming at it. So this is your employee. This is you. You decide they have to do the work and I'm going to make them do the work. So we start pushing and we use different control tactics in order to get them to do the work. But what happens is you push and then you get some resistance. You're like, oh, this is hard. This is hard. I need to push. I need to push. I need to push. And then you stop and you're like, well, what happens if I stop right now? Nothing happens. And then you start pushing again, get more resistant, more resistance. And all of a sudden you start feeling a little bit of ease and then nothing. You get disengagement. That doesn't feel very good.
From the employee perspective either, right? Like they don't, they want to show up every day. They want to deliver. They want to feel good.
Right. So I want to share with you 3 important pieces that's going to help you stop doing this, stop pushing, stop pulling, stop trying to control, because you're actually losing your sense of control when you do this. So what you're doing is you're taking over. You're essentially going to their car. There, imagine we're all like little cars driving around, behaving, doing things. You're going to their car, you're opening the door, and you're taking them out and taking over. And then as you're doing that, that's, you have one employee. You don't have just one employee. You have 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 20, 30, 40. How many cars can you drive at once? And then when you're driving all of those cars, who's driving yours? And you feel it, right? My car is in disrepair now. And now not only is my team failing and things not getting done, I'm also not getting done. So we are all seen as not performing. So we're in trouble. And now I'm feeling exhausted. Things are not quite the way that they need to be. It's reflecting on me and my leadership capacity and skills and abilities. Can I survive? Can I still do this? Was this the job for me? We start questioning ourselves. All right. So I want you to step away from all of that. And today I want you to get back in your car and get back that sense of control. And there's 3 really important things that your employees need in order to get back in their own car and to want to drive for themselves, want to take responsibility, want to do the work. And when people want to do it from within, you don't have to control it, manage it, manipulate it, any of those things. How does that sound, Kelsey Ann?
Sounds a lot better than pushing or like disengaging, like the resistance or the disengaging to like want to show up and, want to perform.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So do you guys want to know what the 3 steps are in Melissa's own words? And by the way, we, don't really prep. So you always get Melissa fresh and impromptu for these lives. We know what we're talking about, but it's not scripted. This is unscripted, guys. Take lots of notes.
Yeah.
So if you're joining, say hi, let me know where you're joining from, and let me know your thoughts on motivation. When we're talking about this, what's coming up for you? What are some of your experiences? Drop some nuggets yourself here in the comments. So number 1 is stop telling and start asking. Stop telling, start asking. And the reason that this first piece is so important is because people need to feel a sense of autonomy. When we feel like we have a sense of control over ourselves, we have that sense of autonomy, it increases our motivation. So think about a time when somebody told you what to do, when you wanted to have your own choice. So anytime in your life when this has happened, either at work, something's coming up, Kelsey Ann?
Yep.
Okay. So if that person, you don't have to tell me any of the story, keep that for yourself. We're just going to talk about the process. If that person had asked you instead of told you, imagine what that person could have asked, a question that they could have asked, or a permission. Can you imagine that? How would the experience have been different?
I would have been more open from the beginning instead of being like, nope. Or
So
being like, you know what, like, I can't even believe, or like, and then just, okay, and just fading away. Just totally disengaging.
yeah. So you would have been opening up
Yes,
and
definitely.
engaging.
Yeah,
Had there been a question?
yeah,
Had there been some kind of a permission or some kind of an ask? And
yeah.
this is the thing, we think we ask employees to do things, but all of our language, all of the words that come out of our mouth or into an email is telling.
Mhm. Your statements.
They're statements. They're not question marks. They're
It's true.
statements. And we argue and we make it super rational. And we say, hey, do the thing. We didn't ask any questions. We didn't consult. We didn't plan. We didn't strategize. We didn't have a dialogue. We just give it.
Cool. Mhm.
Right? Is that effective delegating? I don't know. Is there follow through? That's how I would engage. If you're going to use a measuring stick, is the delegating be effective? Well, is there follow through? What does the quality of the work look like? Is the employee wanting to do the work?
Mhm.
Or have you had to like manipulate this whole project or the whole task from beginning to end?
Mhm.
So asking instead of telling to engage their autonomy. Got number one?
Mhm.
Questions that come up for you, Kelsey Ann? Or for anyone listening, I'm asking Kelsey
Yeah.
Ann, but for anyone listening, questions?
Um, what happens if they don't say anything, right? If you're asking them questions and there's
Mhm.
nothing, or there's everything but the something, right? They're just giving you the fluff, and you can tell they're just talking.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's say that there is nothing, because it would be the same and
Different,
yet
yeah,
slightly different.
right.
So let's say that you're getting nothing. They're just kind of like, yep, Then I would highlight that. As a coach, I'm pretty direct. I hold very my relationships and nurture my relationships well, so I can be that direct. Just by the way, this a caution: make sure you have the relationship to be that direct. So I'm noticing that you're not really giving me anything here, and I don't really know where you stand. Can you tell me what's going on for you right now? So what do you notice from that question?
It's an invitation.
Mhm.
Can you tell me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also giving some like, I'm not getting anything from you. I know something's off. I want to understand. So my
Right,
intention is to understand here.
right.
Can you tell me more about what's coming up for you?
Yeah. It feels more from an allied place
Mhm.
versus they're the manager, I'm the employee. We're supposed to have that kind of tension.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that kind of tension doesn't need to exist.
yeah.
Now, from the other from the other thing you said, they talk in circles and they talk about everything. So there's like deflection going on.
Mhm.
Am I picking that
Yes,
up
yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's like, oh, this and that. I kind of call that rock throwing, where like you ask a question or you want to bring up something and they kind of throw rocks. So it's like they're not comfortable. What that tells me is they're not comfortable about something. There's something off. There's a reason. I have no clue. And there could be a million reasons why they're uncomfortable around this subject,
Mhm,
but there's discomfort.
mhm,
And what I know about focus and what I know about distraction is it's a feeling issue. So when people feel uncomfortable, they avoid.
mhm.
So if they're avoiding in the conversation with you, when they walk out of your office, they're also going to be avoiding. So it's almost an opportunity to figure out why they're uncomfortable, and an opportunity to navigate those emotions to get them to a place where they're going to want to engage in the work.
Mhm.
So I'm noticing as we're talking, so this is what I would say. I'm noticing as we're talking that we're kind of walking in circles, but we haven't really addressed the core issue here. Can you tell me more about what's coming up for you as you're thinking about this issue, or why we're kind of walking in circles?
Mhm.
I just really take like a curious stance on it. Like, what is it? How, so when you think about this work, what's coming up for you, or how do you feel? What are the thoughts that are coming up for you? So I would go more like a feeling question and then a thinking question.
Okay.
Secondary. So I would move them from feeling to thinking. And then explore that. So for those who are in my program, they've learned about the VET process for navigating emotions. That's what I would use right here.
Hmm.
So for all of you listening to this live now or in a replay, that's what I'm talking about, the VET process. Makes sense to you, Kelsey Ann? You know about that process? Yeah.
I do.
All right. So number 2, connect the dots. What does that mean? So that means that you know things that your employees or your staff don't know. When you are an employee, you show up and you do the work that's on your desk. You do the work that's delegated to you. You do the work that's handed to you, but you don't always know why you're doing the work. And so often it lacks meaning. It becomes mundane. You don't really know why you're there, and you start seeking purpose. You start seeking meaning because there's a lot of motivation in meaning. And when what you're doing feels meaningless and you're not seeing the impact of your contribution, so either the motivation goes whoop, and or we start seeking for meaning elsewhere.
Mhm.
So step number 2 is really about leveraging meaning.
Mhm.
And so you have a puzzle. Like, you give your employees a few pieces of the puzzle and this one a few pieces of the puzzle, but you actually have the box with the picture.
Right.
You know where this is all going. You know how these pieces fit. And we assume that other people know this as well, and they don't. They don't, because it's your job as a leader to you have a different time perspective, and you have a broader view of what's happening. That's why you're in a leadership position. That is your job now, to not just worry about the stuff that's on your desk, but to worry about the big picture. So it's important that we help people see the big picture. It's important that you say, hey, here, we have this picture, and what you're doing right now is going to help with this piece. And none of these pieces can work without this. So this
Mhm.
is actually going to lead to this, to this, to this. And together we're going to have this impact. And we could not do the work without this really critical, important piece that you're working on. I'm important. My work's important. My work has impact. It contributes to something.
Mhm.
Now it holds meaning. So meaning.
Mhm.
Kelsey Ann, what meaning do you find in your work? Totally, again, unscripted.
Well, I find a great deal of meaning, and so much so I don't, and I know you've said it before. Um, you consider me your partner versus an employee. So like, I take my responsibilities as an employee as serious as I would if I was actually partnered with you in this business. You
Mhm.
know, that to me is just legalities, but in actuality, we're partners
Yeah.
in that sense. Yeah.
So there's something about the way that we work together and that is giving you meaning.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective on meaning. So there's many ways that you can help employees find meaning.
Hmm.
You can ask them who they want to be in this job, in this career, in this role, how they want to be seen, what impact they want to have. Start asking some of those questions so they can start seeing how they can create meaning for themselves in this role. Meaning, people crave it. They search the world over for meaning. You have lots of people on Facebook in search of meaning. You look at what people post on Facebook, they're all looking for meaning.
Very true.
I find it very fascinating to watch what people post on Facebook. Always from that perspective. All right, so ready for number 3? Any questions before I move on?
Nope,
Any questions from the audience?
not that I see. No.
All right. So if you have a question at this stage and you're watching on the replay, #replay, leave your question. I'll be happy to go back and answer it. So number 3 is fully leverage their skills. People want to feel masterful. They want to feel like I'm stepping in and I can succeed here and I can shine and I can be the king or the queen of my kingdom. They want to feel masterful. So if we are over focusing on their weaknesses, if we're trying to constantly fix them, there is a feeling of I can't succeed. And that demotivates people. I can't succeed. We correct, we give feedback, we criticize, we give feedback, we correct. Why am I here? I
Yeah.
can't do it.
Yeah.
And I'm secretly thinking, oh my God, I'm failing. And then every time you bring it up, you're confirming that I'm failing.
And here are all the ways.
And here are all the ways you're giving me external evidence to confirm the secret thought that I'm having. Well, you're going to take it over anyway. So that's good. I'll just collect my paycheck now and dream about a better job. So how would you, and I'm moving into solution here. How have you lived this, Kelsey Ann? I think it's natural to want to fix the gaps, right? We want to be perfect, but being perfect and masterful, not the same thing. If you're perfect at all the things, you're not going to be masterful in one area. So you can focus on perfecting all the things, or you can focus on growing what you're already good at and becoming that master.
Mhm. I think what comes up for me is you always ask me the question, what do you know about X? Right? When we're trying to, figure something out. And that allows you to know what I know about it. And then you fill in the gaps with what I don't know. And that really, okay, I know what I know. She's just told me more information. Now I understand a clearer picture and away I can go.
Yeah.
Without you telling me, okay, A, B, C, X, Y, and Z, and here you go. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that would have been an assumption that you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Where in fact, you know some stuff and I don't know what you know.
Mhm.
So I think it's always a beautiful question to ask another person is, what do you know about it? Before I assume that you don't know and take over, tell you all the things that I think you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes when we see people not following through or not succeeding, it's not a matter of they don't know what to do. Sometimes is they don't feel like they have the autonomy to take action. Don't feel like they've been delegated the work, but not the authority to actually do something,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they're waiting for you to tell them. Sometimes they don't see the point. Sometimes they need the meaning. And sometimes they're waiting for you to say, hey, you're actually really good at this. Would you like to take this on?
Mm-hmm.
And they will. If it is work that they will feel like they can succeed in and they can feel proud of.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Autonomy, meaning, and mastery will get you to where you're going. Remember these three things. You might be thinking about the ways that you are incorporating it. I want to push you a little bit to think about the ways that you're not incorporating it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The little traps, and the traps are there. And I confess, I fall in the traps of extrinsic motivation. I fall in them because it is something we've learned. We've been practicing extrinsic motivation for a very long time.
The way we
We've
grew
been
up.
motivating people with rewards and awards and punishments and carrots and sticks and all of the external things. We have been told this is what is leadership. You know, I encounter a lot of people that say fear is the best motivator. Again, that's external. And I'm going to take something away from you, or I'm going to give you a punishment, or something really bad is going to happen in order to make people do. And it works for, a split second. It works just a little bit, just enough for you to feel like, for a moment there, I kind of felt like I had some control. And then it doesn't work. Because what you're not doing is you're not cultivating the intrinsic motivation. And in the process, you're actually breaking down the relationship, the trust, the want to do something for you, want to participate, want to make your life easier, the want to collaborate,
Mm-hmm.
the want to do good work. So if we are practicing things, and 100% of people that I work with, and including myself, everyone that I know, we fall in these traps because this is what society has taught us. And now it's time to shift, to really learn a new approach to leadership. So if you're interested in this new approach to leadership, I have an opportunity right now. So if you're not in the know, I'm just going to open this up so that you are in the know and you don't miss out. I've opened up 6 seats in my signature program, the Executive Edge. There's 5 seats left, but there's lots of calls filling up on my calendar. So they're not going to be there for very long. And so if you are interested in, and you're ready, so interested and ready to actually grow your skills and make your life easier and feel more confident in your leadership skills and actually see the result of it by having people who show up and do the work from a place of want to. The Executive Edge does exactly that. So it's an 8-week program where we're going to work together very, very closely. It's a combination of one-on-one and group coaching. And you also get an EQ leadership assessment that goes with it. We measure your results before and after. And the way that I've set up this program, and the reason why I get so many results. It's not your typical leadership program. If you can talk to anyone who's gone through my program, they will say, oh my gosh, totally not the typical experience. So first off, direct contact with me, support. This is not like an online class that you show up, it's pre-recorded. It's a small group, so you get intimate time with me when we're in the group setting, but you also get the one-on-one, and you also get a direct line to me behind the scenes. So that allows me, in conjunction of measuring your leadership profile, we get to see where you're starting, and we get to customize a strategy that works for you. So that means we're going to take all of that knowledge that you're coming in, all of that experience that you're already coming in with, we're going to deepen that, and we're going to customize it for your daily practice, your daily leadership practice. So we're going to take in consideration your own unique leadership style, the unique team dynamics that are around you, and the organizational culture. These are all things that make a difference. I've worked with clients who had 20, 30 years of success as executive directors go into a different environment, and everything that they were doing right that got them the success wasn't working as well because the dynamics were different, the culture was different, and so they needed to make slight adjustments. Okay, it was these little fine tuning, these little tweaks that got them to where they needed to be, and to get the dynamics and the culture where it needed to be. All right, custom strategies. And the second thing is emotional intelligence. We talked about navigating emotions. This is something we do in every conversation as leaders. People are driven by emotions, and we forget this. We approach things rationally. Why can't they just think rational? Well, it's because the information is coming in, and it will reach their feeling brain before their rational brain. And by the time it reaches the rational brain, they've already made a decision about you, about what you're presenting, about what they're willing to do, about if they want to participate. So how they feel about things will make a difference. How they feel about you will make a difference. How they feel about this work will make a difference. How they feel about the organization will make a difference. So being able to navigate emotions sets you apart. And that emotional mastery, when you are around somebody who's emotionally masterful, this is not the person who is like disconnected and cold. Okay, so I want you to take that image and just like chuck it. This is not the person I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you're with someone, and just being in their presence shifts things for you, and you feel that connection to that person. And all of a sudden you start feeling good about yourself. You start feeling different. That's emotional mastery. That's the edge that we're going for, is that presence. And that's a lot more about being than doing. I want to show you the skills to have that presence, and what the little things that you're going to be weaving into the way that you communicate with people on the everyday that's going to give you that edge. Interested? Book a call. That's all you need to do, is book a connect call with me. We'll take just a little bit of time to explore who you are, your goals, why you're interested. And then we're going to make sure that it's a really good fit for you. I'll be able to answer all of your questions. Kelsey Ann, can you drop the link for that call in the chat?
Sure.
So there's more information on the link that's being dropped, and you can access my calendar. The applications close on Wednesday, so you have until Wednesday to book your call. So when the applications close, there is a deal right now. If you apply right now, you will get the best deal for this program. After Wednesday, so Thursday morning, Thursday at midnight, I guess it's Wednesday at midnight, going into Thursday. Like, what is going on? I need more coffee. The price is going back to the regular price. So I'm giving a deal right now for everyone who's jumping in. I love action takers. We're setting off on this new adventure in August for this 8-week program. You do not want to miss out. To go into the fall with feeling more in control, leveraging intrinsic motivation, and get your time back. It is well worth it. Let me tell you, the people who come through the program, they want to continue. It's a good one. So book your call. Let's explore. Let's talk. And then you can make a decision. But you have to book your call by Wednesday. And right now, I think there are spots open for Friday.
I think there's a few left.
Yeah. So you can book your call before Wednesday, and you're going to book yourself in for Friday. And maybe there's a couple of options next week. I'm not sure. We'll have to kind of
I'll have to.
that.
Yeah.
All right. Cheers, everyone. Here's
Bye.
the beautiful Monday. Have a great week, and I will see you soon. Bye.
Bye.